Okay, I hope you found the video. I know it's dated, but there are actually some pretty good actors in it, and the guy narrating it is was in the second version of A Star Is Born, which is playing Judy Garland's husband. His name is James Mason, terrific British actor. He's the voice, the narrator of the video you watched. And then I'm just, this is going to be a reading assignment. It will be announced at the end of this lecture, but an article which appeared in the Atlantic magazine, which is a very smart magazine, in terms, in my opinion, in terms of how it analyzes and deals with a number of issues faced by our world, our society. And this article is called Before Zuckerberg, Gutenberg, and there's a link to it. And you're going to be required to do it and answer some questions based from the article. And so, this makes the parallel, a very valid parallel between books and the printing press and its effect on society and on the internet and its effect on society. I said I was going to say something about some other printing, and in China, printing goes way, way, way back, way before Gutenberg. And they did have some movable type based on some reading I've done. But this was, what's shown here is printing with just, not with movable type, but with a whole carved kind of page. But they printed blocks from the 9th century onward. They printed books from large wooden blocks. And books were available throughout China. Bookshops were trading in every Chinese city. And this had also an effect on literacy in the Chinese population. So, printing, many people say, was really invented in China. Okay. And I just want to spend another second about other technological advances, because your book makes mention of these, and so changes in technology gave rise to new media types. So movable printing press, we've now spent some time talking about steam power in the 18th century and the 19th century, harnessing the power of boiling water and steam, rising to move engines, gave rise to locomotives, horseless carriages, the iron horse, I should say. I think the horseless carriage actually was more the automobile, so my apologies. But a lot of these early movable machines were referred to in terms of horses, which was the current technology. So in fact, you think about it, the cars we have today, how do we measure the power of cars we have today? It's horsepower in your engine. So it always interests me that a new technology is kind of described in terms that refer to the current or the old technology. Anyway, steam power, railroads, and steam-powered printing presses, as a matter of fact. Now, no one invented electricity. Electricity kind of exists in the natural world. Just ask Benjamin Franklin. But electricity was harnessed to different kinds of current. Alternating and direct current were harnessed in the late 19th and early 20th century. And this led to telegraphs, Morse code, okay, which was the first electronic communication. And gave rise to the telephone, credited to Alexander Graham Bell in the U.S., who was doing some research on deafness. His wife, in fact, was deaf, and he invented the telephone, all because of electricity. And then radio, okay, that radio tower you saw on the top of the globe, radio the invention credited to Marconi, an Italian man. Also Nikola Tesla. Some people really give credit to the first radio transmission. So this was quite an amazing invention, the ability to package sound on top of manufactured radio waves at specific frequencies. Putting sound on top of that could be transmitted and then picked up by a receiver, and the radio waves then turned back into the sounds that had originally been recorded. Quite an amazing invention, radio. Radio, the primary mass medium for some decades before another clever inventor or two found a way to package not just sound but pictures, video on top of the radio waves, similar radio waves. And then we had television after World War II, beginning in the 1940s, and basically kind of becoming the primary mass communication, the mass medium worldwide, starting in the 1940s and going right up till almost the present, when now internet has overtaken it, and then the internet being invented in the 1980s, really, and 90s, coming into its own, and now mobile phones, first being invented in the 1970s and then commercialized in the decades following. And guess what? Mobile phones are wireless communicators also, right, folks? You don't have wires following you all over the place with your mobile phone. And mobile phones also use radio waves, different frequencies, to communicate their messages, sounds and images. So these are some of the inventions that had an impact on mass communication. Let's stop here. We've talked now about one-to-many, okay? The fact that mass communication involves broadcasting or getting a message out to lots of people, a mass of people, and that technology was the enabler of that, starting with the printing press, going right through the mobile phone. Okay, so we're going to stop here, and then we'll pick up on our next topic, which is mass communication and culture. And if I can find my cursor, I can stop this. And we'll see you on the other side of the